I know that part of this consciousness is it's not manipulated. So it's not a consciousness that, you're manipulating to get yourself into a certain experience. We were mystics. We surrendered. We gave ourselves over. We were not trying to make it do something. We went someplace that a group of humans don't go. Like you could feel like it was like there was pleasure from the divine of going someplace new, like being available for going into new dimensions of love and connectiveness. And it was thrilling. This consciousness is different than non-dual awakening. So it literally is a different phenomena. And A.H. Almas, I don't know if you know Diamond Heart, but I studied with them for 8.5 years. And he's the only person I've ever heard, barely speak. So he said this in a couple of places, not very publicly, but he said he calls it unilocal realization, which is what I had with Peter. Unilocal realization is completely different than non-dual awakening. Different part of the brain, different, that's being, like theta and delta are actually being activated. This is only with another, and I need you. Like, I can't go there without you. And if you're sitting back going, it won't happen. Do you know what I mean? Like, you have to be as 100% as you can in the moment, right? We're still human. I need to be as 100% as I can, and then know how to enter into the consciousness together.
Or what changes when you get an experience and a taste of it? What effect has it on your life, on your relationships?
It's a great question. One of the things that has happened very powerfully, particularly for the core, and it's happening for people in the global as well, is this thing that I call issuelessness. So for the most part, we're focused on our issues, right? One issue after another. We're working on ourselves, we're dealing. What this consciousness does as you're practicing and you're working in the way that we are, instead of processing and learning and developing, we call it kenosis. And kenosis has to do with a dissolving or disappearing. So what happens is your fear or self-concern or worry about where you're headed or anger or, the various things that we experience as human beings, as individuals, our patterns and our, distorted emotions. You can feel, that's what happened to Peter and I. It was like we were getting more dissolved, which is what love does. Because love doesn't fill you if you're in the way. If you have pride, if you have fear, the love can't get in. So you become more selfless. So then by being together in this yes, we start going where we've never gone before. And we're like, like it's so exciting to actually go where you've never been before, farther, deeper, more divine, more beautiful, like hard to bear, that whole thing. But then if we continue and we still say yes and we are still available, we might be taken by the divine to places where the divine has never gotten to go. To me, that is the greatest, like that's my favorite thing in anything, is to be able to maybe here and there, right, be able to be capable of being a vehicle for the newness of where divinity can only go through us, but only if we're capable. And we have that, like we have many couples that come into the more intensive work as well as the global, and you watch them being inside the multiple beloveds. I mean, they have so much love. The other thing is when you have all these other people that are meeting you, but it has incredible integrity, and it's not about falling in love with anybody. I mean, you're kind of in love with everybody, in a way. It empowers the particular intimacy and the possibilities for the two of you and for families. what I see happening is as we've developed like this way of coming together in this superorganism, right? This larger being, that will eventually be translated into families and organizations. You know, like when we realize how do we come together? What kind of integrity? How are we together so that we can really be this healthy organism that gives birth to whatever it's focused on, you know, whether it's a family or a sports team or an organization that's helping to, you know, farm. I think we'll be organisms of being. And there'll be a whole way that works, which is very different than organizational consulting. That we can go from this thinking layer of earth where everyone is very developed and separate to an awakening of love, to awaken love.